ABC 6 News at 11 starts with this severe weather alert.
Dangerous storm cells filled with hail and lightning moving across Indian Lake in Logan County, where we see this damage eastward to Licking County tonight. And we're just starting now to get a look at all of the damage left behind. On the left of the screen there, again, that's the Indian Lake area following this line of storms. We're still getting brand new images into our newsroom. Now we'll take a live look now over downtown Columbus. The National Weather Service has confirmed that tornadoes touched down in several parts of Ohio to our north. Mostly calm in Columbus tonight until the last hour when in fact another storm cell moved through, but nothing as severe as what we've seen off to our west and north. Right now, AEP Ohio is reporting more than 10,000 people across the state are without power. We have team coverage as we continue to track these storms. Stephanie Dupre is in Logan County right now on the shores of Indian Lake, checking out the damage there in neighborhoods, and we'll turn to her in just a few minutes. First, though, we'll lead things off with Marshall McPeak. And you say you saw what looked like a shelf cloud, always an ominous sight in Plain City.
You know, we were watching the traffic cameras, and I think we have that. So take a look at what's happening here. You notice that as the lightning lights up this cloud, you can actually see different parts of the storm. So on the leading edge, you see the band across the middle there. That's the shelf cloud. That's some of the outflow from the storm. And there's also behind it what looks like might be a wall cloud. And that's the part we become concerned with, because that's where sometimes you can get tornadoes dropping out of the storm in the back end where we see some of the downdraft. Otherwise, in this picture, you notice that as the lightning brightens, sometimes you can even see where the actual rain core is in this storm. And there was, at the time, there was also some pretty good hail in that storm as well. We will track more of that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Marshall, thank you. We're going to start here by going to the north and west of Columbus to Logan County and Indian Lake, which has seen in a couple of its communities at least some significant damage tonight. Indian Lake just off of Highway 33, which is closed right now. Russell's Point comes down to 33, and that town has been badly hit. 33 closed, as are streets in Russell's Point. We'll check with Stephanie Dupre there in just a moment. If you go a little farther up the coast, up the northwest, you get to Lakeview, which also saw significant damage tonight. And earlier we spoke right after the storm had moved through with the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce there, Amber Fagan, and here's what she was seeing.
It's pure devastation. I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. I recommend staying off the roads. Our Lakeview Municipal Building is demolished. Our laundromat is gone. The old plastics building is just completely demolished. Downtown, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
I heard some people were trapped in a mobile home park.
I don't know about that. I just was checking on all of our local businesses and our chamber members, and it's very sad.
Okay that you know of?
Everybody I know is okay, but I've heard some people are not okay.
Yeah, I heard they're setting up some strategic places and stuff.
Indian Lake just opened. We just got word from the Indian Lake superintendent. It's open for shelter. They don't have power, but they have backup generators. So anybody who's without power or water or food, they're making that a place of sanctuary, and school's canceled for tomorrow. I do know that.
Again, Amber Fagan there talking about the school being used as a shelter tonight. Let's come back down the lake shore to the south to Russell's Point, and our Steph Dupre has been there all night long. First reporter on the scene. Stephanie, and what's the latest update now that you've had a chance to look around and assess things?
Yeah, Bob. So we just, we've been out here for, an hour and some change. We pulled over. We're across the street from Indian Lake. And I have to say, we just made it to Grigg Mobile Home Park. And the damage here is so significant, and honestly, something that I don't think I've really ever seen in my career. Let me just show you what we're looking at. I'm going to step out of the frame here. We've got to be careful here. It's very dark. Power is non-existent at this point. Look at this damage to this mobile home park. These homes just completely destroyed, destruction everywhere, massive trees down, power lines. These are people's lives These are people's homes. Like I said, we just pulled over. I see fire trucks. I do see, police lights, heard some sirens. I see some ambulances. I do hear some chainsaws running. It looks like, they're still trying to either help people get tree debris out of the road. Now, I want to mention again, when we were in Russell Point, it did take us quite some time to get over here to this area near Indian Lake. When we were on Wilgus Road, you saw some of that damage earlier. Those folks, over there told us that they are okay. They're just trying to kind of figure out where everybody is. And again, if you're looking at this damage here, it's really difficult to see anything. I don't see any folks walking around over here like we did when we were over on Wilgus Road in Russell Point, in that area, excuse me. All I see is police kind of roaming in that area from the streets that they have been able to clear. Again, I haven't heard of any injuries, but we did hear from folks that there are some people who are hurt, and we hope that they're okay. Again, taking a look at this damage, it looks like, from where I'm standing, of course, maybe Marshall can jump in at some point after I speak here, but I'm not sure how this, this storm or this tornado ripped through this area, but it looks like it just, pounded them from an angle where it just ripped this entire side to shreds. Again, people's homes, devastation. This is just, something significant. This is going to take some time to clear. And, like I said, I don't see anybody walking around right now. We're still assessing the area ourselves. We had to pull over to a safe spot. Again, it took us a long time to get over here. Taking back roads along 33, Bob has mentioned a few times, that is still, those roads are shut down. There are officers everywhere. We were trying to link up with them, and even some of them are even clueless. They're like, we're just here in this area to make sure folks here are okay. I can't tell you what's happening further down the street. So everyone's really just trying to make as much progress as they can. And as this is happening, there is still some traffic. I know our car might be in the way, but traffic is still kind of lining up here along this mobile home park. I can't tell you if they live here, but we are going to take a second to see if we can get into the park ourselves. Maybe we can link up with some people, and we will see you back here maybe within the next half hour.
All right.
Bob?
Before you go, Stephanie, another area that they're opening up for shelter, as we've just mentioned to our viewer, is the elementary school or the school in Lakeview. So that might be a place to stop and talk with the folks who are from that particular community there. Do you have any kind of a sense in standing? I know it's dark, but have you had an idea of just how many structures are damaged in there?
Yeah, Bob, we were also hearing about that location as well. So we will head over there the second that we wrap up here. I can't give you a specific number right now, but if we're looking at this together, I'm going to have my photographer, zoom in a little bit so we can see, some of this damage as he zooms in here. I'm counting, if we're crossing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I can tell you now just over a dozen homes here are brutally damaged. Yeah. Brutally damaged. Yeah, some of this damage looks like it's going to take a long time to recover. So, yeah, it's pretty significant. Like I said, it is really dark. We're going to try to head over there to see if we can see more. But again, we're going to see if we can find some of those folks who had to go take that shelter and make sure that they're okay.
All right, Stephanie Dupre tonight, just outside of Russell's Point. Is that correct, Russell's Point, for this community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are right across from Indian Lake. I believe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Grieg's Mobile Home Park.
All right.
Or Mobile Home Park, I believe that's what it's called. But I'm still, like I said, we're still trying to gather some information, but we'll be out here for the remainder of the night, and we'll see you back here.
Let you go, Steph. Go and do your job there, get more information there. First responders obviously on the scene. It's a pretty isolated area. It might take some time to get all of the numbers that they need in there, and obviously daylight will help a lot in that recovery, but it's been about 3 hours since the storm moved through. Stephanie Dupre again tonight in Russell's Point out in Indian Lake in Logan County. Thank you, Steph. Our coverage of the aftermath of the storms that have moved through and the storms as they continue here in Central Ohio will continue on ABC 6 right after this.
ABC 6 News at noon starts with this breaking news alert.
Severe storms and suspected tornadoes leave a trail of destruction. In Logan County, 3 people have died, and rescuers are conducting door-to-door searches right now. Our team coverage continues now with Mike McCarthy live in Orchard Island. Mike.
Kurt, we are here at Orchard Island, right in the heart of Indian Lake, where behind me, where you see this golf cart headed, back there is where one of those secondary searches is underway. We can show you this brand new here at 12:30. Columbus Fire is here assisting in this search. And while we have not been able to get far back into this neighborhood at all, we can show you this brand new piece of equipment, this red tractor that just showed up to help move debris. And if you look right over here at the damage at Spend a Day Marina, it gives you at least a glimpse of the kind of devastation so many people in this community are dealing with right here at the noon hour. The power of last night's storm blew out almost every window at the popular destination on Indian Lake. A manager at Spend a Day Marina told me it's too soon to know the extent of the damage to its boats and building. The priority this morning was getting the place as secure as possible.
We don't know anything. No clue. No clue. Right now we're just in the figure it out phase.
All kinds of devastation surrounded that business. Boats were thrown out of the water. In other spots, buildings landed underwater. And nearby, mobile homes were ripped apart and rolled at the Sunny Cove Resort. And back here live at the noon hour, we've moved a little closer to that neighborhood to show you what we can see from the edge here of Orchard Island. You can see the destruction right there at a couple of homes, and a number of searchers here taking a bit of a break as they are still in the process of making sure everyone on this island has been accounted for. Kurt, we do know overnight this island was already searched, and initially police told us they got to every home. But then late this morning, we got late word that there were some spots they wanted to get to that they could not because of downed power lines, downed trees, gas leaks, and other potential dangers. We do know here on the island, at least one person was found dead overnight. We're live on your side on Orchard Island at Indian Lake. Mike McCarthy, ABC 6 News.
Hey, Mike, yeah, and we're going to get you to some more of that information from those officials in just a moment. But I do want to show you the damage that our crews have been observing here in the Lakeview area over the last several hours. You can see debris from what was a home behind me. And if you just take a look down the street, this whole neighborhood completely destroyed by this storm that came through late last night. Now, as Mike mentioned, we were in a news conference earlier today with some officials, including the Logan County Sheriff, and they confirm, and as we have mentioned, 3 people are dead because of this storm. They also say they don't, right now at least, have a reason to believe if other people are unaccounted for at this time. But of course, that is something that can be updated as the day progresses. Logan County Sheriff Randy Dodds says crews are continuing to conduct searches all across the area today.
We did searches last night more than one time, and we felt it was important today in the daylight to go back and recheck those areas on top of those that we couldn't get to. See, last night it was extremely difficult because we could not get back to Orchard Island because of gas leaks and power lines down and trees, and we did as best search as we could, but there's many places we couldn't get to. So we're going to recheck those areas again, plus there's many places back there that are collapsed.
Our Steve Levine is in Russell's Point tonight and was able to talk to the governor earlier today. Steve, what did he have to say?
Marshall, the governor took a tour around Russell's Point and Orchard Island, and let me show you some of the devastation he saw. Look right behind me. You can see this home. Trees toppled on top of the roof. There are power lines down. There is debris everywhere. The governor wrapping up a briefing with reporters about an hour ago after taking that vehicle tour, looking at all the damage. This is just some of the destruction that DeWine and state and local leaders saw in Lakeview. Homes and businesses flattened. Pieces of homes scattered across Indian Lake. Authorities telling us after several searches in Lakeview and Orchard Island, everyone has been accounted for, and the death toll from the storms stands at 3. The governor says plans already underway to get people who lost homes, property, and valuables back on their feet.
It's not lost on any of us that the summer season is almost here. So we're going to continue to work with local officials from the governor's office.
Logan County officials say the road to recovery from the community will be long, but they're confident Indian Lake will bounce back. Governor already saying plans are in place for financial assistance, both state and federally. But we asked about a timeline, and they say there's no timeline set up. So victims who lost homes, who lost property, still do not know when they can begin applying for this funds or where they can get a check. But Marshall, right now, the focus is on this, cleaning up the debris, cleaning up the trees, cleaning up the siding, the debris all over this community. That's their focus tonight, Marshall.
The National Weather Service was here today. They have determined this was an EF3 tornado. What does that mean, though? Meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael has an explanation of what the enhanced Fujita scale means.
Well, as the sun came up today, we were able to get a better idea of some of the damage that we saw. And one question that we get asked sometimes is, how do you know how strong those storms are and tornadoes? It's ranked based off of the scale of how strong the winds are and the damage that is caused, the enhanced Fujita scale. For minor damage in EF0, you're looking at winds 65 to about 86 miles per hour. You're losing some shingles. You might have a few power outages, basically a disruption to your normal life. When you get the EF1, trees are starting to topple down, telephone poles toppled over as well, and you're starting to lose some more shingles, and you're getting some roof damage as well. Once you get to the EF2 stage, cars are flipped over. Most telephone poles knocked over, and large trees can be uprooted, with roofs being ripped off of homes, and you're getting winds there between about 111, 135 miles per hour. Some of the damage we've seen is between that EF2 and EF3 stage so far this morning. National Weather Service will be surveying it today, but you're looking at vehicles displaced, entire floors ripped off of homes, and the bark stripped from trees. And that's what the National Weather Service will determine today, is how strong those winds were. EF4, homes are leveled, and at EF5, which we rarely see here in Ohio, homes are completely ripped away from the structure and from the basement, or whether the slab of that home. And you could also see grass getting ripped from the ground. So this is how they determine how strong the tornadoes are.
Breaking news alert.
We begin tonight at 6 with a look at the devastation we are seeing at Indian Lake. This is very, very graphic here. We'll look at the station drone track 6 flying above Indian Lake here. We've talked to folks in the area today. They describe it as a war zone. Easy to see why. The National Weather Service now has confirmed it was an EF3 tornado that swept through this area last night. Logan County Sheriff says 3 people were killed in the storm, and so many homes and buildings damaged or destroyed. Obviously going to be a very long recovery process for Indian Lake. And they're promising, though, tonight that they will rebuild.
Everywhere you look, there's devastation.
One day at a time.
But in this gym, everywhere you look, you see community.
We came last night and that's all I could do was cry.
Christine Ricketts here again today to pick up supplies, batteries, flashlights, some of the necessities.
As night falls, we realize the things that we need, because in the daytime, I've got to stay busy or else this is what I do.
Indian Lake High School's gym stuffed with donations. Everything from clothes to diapers to food.
You're shocked at the magnitude that we received, but I'm not shocked at the fact that people were willing to give and to come together.
Strangers, people we don't even know, just, who are you? Well, we're from Timbuktu, and here they are helping us, and it's just very humbling, very humbling.
She says she can feel the love and support.
It's only day 2 or 3, and all of this is amazing, but the things that we need are going to come in the weeks to come, I think.
As a retired teacher from here, I have a lot of close relationships with a lot of people in this community, especially a lot of the students here, and so you just know them and see the pain and the suffering and the hurt that they're going through.
And as Ricketts relives the moments that led them here, she's thankful to be alive.
My husband said, "It's here." I just felt the pressure in the house. I felt it get down, and we pulled the mattress over on top of us. We were on the floor, and we heard so many weird noises and glass breaking and thuds. And, finally he said, "It's over, babe, we're alive."
As everyone figures out their needs moving forward, volunteers at the high school are shifting their focus now. Instead of having people come to the school there, they're bringing supplies to churches and distribution sites closer to the damage. That way, those impacted can be in walking distance of what they need.
You're watching ABC 6 News at 6. Central Ohio's most watched evening news is on your side.
Marilyn's trailer would have been right next to hers. From my understanding, she ran over and she trusted her with her entire life. So literally.
Tonight, we're starting to learn more about the 3 people killed in the tornadoes that hit Logan County Thursday night. The sheriff has identified them now as 69-year-old Neil Longfellow from Orchard Island, 70-year-old Darla Williams, and her best friend and neighbor, 81-year-old Marilyn Snap from Geiger Mobile Home Park.
Meanwhile, the cleanup efforts remain in effect around Indian Lake. This is drone track video just in-house showing the devastation left behind. The community is still working to pick up all the debris.
We've been covering the story nonstop since Thursday night when the tornadoes hit, and of course we'll continue to be here for the community. We're on your side tonight, the special Monday, part of a day of giving. You can donate to the Red Cross effort by scanning that QR code on your screen.
We have team coverage with crews all over. Tom Bosco is in Delaware County, where a state of emergency has been declared from the tornado that hit there. Carly Van Cleve is in Logan County, where she spoke with those family members of one of the 3 people killed. We start our coverage with Chief Meteorologist Marshall McPeak. Marshall, what are you seeing there tonight?
You know, today we have snow flurries here in Logan County. A few days ago, it was warm enough to have severe thunderstorms that generated tornadoes. It has been a significant snap in the weather here. Plus, this is creating issues for people who are trying to not only clean up, but just get through a cold night. Many places don't have electricity. They don't have running water. And with this kind of cold, it creates an extra problem. But you notice that there are crews out tonight. They are working on putting up power poles. They're getting the lines restrung. And all across the area, we've seen people pitching in with volunteer help to try to get this community back together. It is going to be a long process, but it has begun. And people here are very hopeful that they can do it sooner rather than later. In the meantime, we're learning more about what happened to some of the people here. 2 of the women who were killed in this storm were described as best friends, and they were seeking shelter together as the tornado came through the area. Our Carly Van Cleve was able to talk to one of their families today. Carly, how are they remembering her tonight?
Yeah, Marshall, those 2 women, their homes once stood right where I am right here now. I've been told that the 2 were truly connected, and they have been for years. The family says they're grateful the women didn't die alone, together till the very end.
That's where her trailer was.
Loved ones still working through the devastating pain.
I just gotten home a few minutes prior to it happening and coming through. So, didn't really have any time to react at all.
A tornado tearing through Logan County, leaving a path of destruction, taking lives in the process. 3 people died, including 70-year-old Darla Williams.
She was one hell of a woman that's going to be missed by all.
Her nieces, Michaela and Abby Sadler, walked me through the community where her home once stood. Was this her car?
Yes.
81-year-old Marilyn Snap's life was also snatched away in an instant. Right here is where the 2 victims' houses once stood, side by side. What used to be their homes, now reduced to slabs of concrete. Family says the pair were inseparable, living side by side for years.
Marilyn's trailer would have been right next to hers. From my understanding, she ran over and she trusted her with her entire life. So literally.
Rescue crews say they found Williams and Snap together under the rubble.
Everybody lost a great woman, her kids, her grandkids.
Both were described as extremely kind and loving women, a community rocked by their loss.
I'm thinking about everyone who has lost family members, not just us, everybody, everyone that was injured, dealing with this whole devastation at the lake. So, I'm sorry.
Well, the family tells me Williams leaves behind several children and grandchildren, and they will miss her greatly. In Lakeview, I'm Carly Van Cleve, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Carly. As the recovery efforts get underway here, a lot of people are looking for help. And the Red Cross has been here since just hours after these tornadoes roared through the region. So the Red Cross is providing assistance and some recovery services. They're doing it here on site as well as from a shelter in Bellefontaine. And they're working with survivors and trying to connect them to some social services, getting them some food and hot meals and a safe place to stay until they've got their own place to go to. And many of those efforts are volunteer driven and they depend on donations.
We are sheltering people. We've been sheltering since the impact of the tornado. We've been feeding them. We've been taking care of medical needs on that side, taking care of animals or pets. So we opened a shelter and we've got pets in there also.
Today is our day of giving. ABC 6 and Fox 28 are teaming up with the American Red Cross to help folks impacted by this tornado. If you want to donate, there's a QR code there on your screen. All you have to do is scan that. It'll take you directly to the Red Cross's Disaster Relief Fund, and you can donate directly to the Red Cross there.
You're watching ABC 6 News at 5. Central Ohio's most watched evening news is on your side.
We begin with the ongoing work in the Indian Lake community to try and return to normal. Recovery efforts still ongoing, of course, following last Thursday's deadly tornado.
And for the first time since then, the kids there are finally back in school. Let's send things out to Steve Levine. He is live in Lakeview with how things are looking today. Steve?
Bob and Terry, 6 days after this devastating and deadly tornado, you can still see piles of debris and siding. There is destruction that you can see everywhere. This house I am in front of, actually on its side, and check up above me. There is no second floor, yet you can see clothes hanging in a closet. This area still in pieces, but today one part of the community able to get a piece of their normalcy back.
As this cleanup continues along Indian Lake, kids finally returning to the classroom. Many youngsters still feeling the impact of last week's deadly tornado.
We were so excited to see those faces get off the bus and out of the cars this morning. It's just a good feeling to see them in person and to know that they're okay.
Indian Lake Elementary's 500 students welcome back to school with this hand-painted sign of support filled with the names of students just down the road in Bellefontaine.
It's just so nice to feel that support from our area community, and this sign is awesome.
And as these kids return to their daily routine outside their classroom walls,
nothing's normal. It's still devastating.
All over Indian Lake, reminders of the tragedy from last week can be seen as crews pick up the mangled mess left behind.
The roof is off in the back. The garage.
Neighbors not only cleaning up, but checking on each other.
Reach out to your neighbor and just extend that hand or that voice to listen, and hugs are amazing.
Healing hugs, these teachers are grateful they can once again give to their kids in their time of need.
Not only can they be here and be safe and feel that safety and get some counseling things that they might need here too.
And as you can see, still a lot of debris in the road. That's why the school district today started 2 hours later to give bus drivers enough time to get through those neighborhoods where those kids live that were ravaged by this storm. We are live in Logan County. Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.